This was my third competition after starting Strongman not even a year previously, and decided to jump straight in at the deep end. This was about a year ahead of where I had planned to be at this stage, but I thought fuck it and just jumped in. So entered into Scotland's Strongest Man Qualifiers in 2023, and I was bricking it. It was hard as hell, the weights were super heavy, but I trained my ass off and wanted to compete with the big boys as an open weight category, so anything goes. And yeah, I wanted to see where I ranked against the best in Scotland. So I went along. I don't have any footage from this one, which is a bit annoying. I ended up going to this one by myself on my own, so all I've got is pictures, but I'll talk you through the events anyway. So yeah, I finished 32nd in this comp out of about 40 odd competitors, so I was pretty happy with that considering I was still very fresh on the scene. Got to see some awesome people, and some people I'd watched just through socials and hadn't met yet, but were competing at a much higher level, which was awesome to be in the same pool as these people. So event number one was the Viking press. Now, I'd never laid hands on this event until the day, the closest I got. So the way I was training for the Viking press was a pendulum squat machine that we had in the gym, and so I was actually pressing it back to front from what I would be doing the Viking press. But it seemed to pay off. I got some. It was difficult to gauge the weight on that because it was different. It was the wrong way around. The handles weren't the same width or the same feel because it was shoulder pads, so it kind of had flat hands on it, which was a bit awkward. But it paid off massively. This is also a much higher weight than I'd ever put in overhead. I think I'd previously done 125 was my highest overhead lift under ideal circumstances as well. So this was a Viking press of 135 kilogram for max reps. I can't remember what the time limit was, not that that mattered, but I was just going in with the aim of lifting it once, just not to zero on the event. And I did. I pulled off 4 reps, which I was super happy about. I actually felt a lot better in hands than what I thought it was going to. I was at the right height for locking out just when it got to, I think, probably its heaviest on the swing. So yeah, four reps and that. The atmosphere here was unreal, like unlike any comps that I'd done before, the whole 2 that I'd done before. But it was super encouraging, people shouting their names. The staff and everything, the way it was run was just super smooth and very professional, and really enjoyed it. Once I got that one out of the way, I was a bit more relaxed. I was bricking it coming into this competition, but I did not sleep the night before. I was pacing. Everything turned to liquid the night before, which is not a new experience for me the night before comps, although I've gotten a lot better at that over the last couple of years. But yeah, 135 Viking press for 4 reps. Event number 2, the deadlift, Texas bar deadlift. So kind of standard deadlift bar, 300 kilogram. Now I had not gotten close to this in training. The closest I got was 290, and it was a half decent pull. It was slow, it was hard, it was definitely a PB at the time. So this 300 kilogram, again, I was just coming in for the 1 rep, just didn't want to zero it, wanted to do it, and yeah, I got the 1 rep that I came for, and that was enough. I was happy with that. I put it down and just walked away from it. I was happy with the 1 rep at 300 kilograms, a 10 kilogram PB. And it moved reasonably well as well. It just went up. I just committed myself to the belief that I was absolutely going to lift that deadlift, and after the Viking press as well, it gave me a bit more of a boost of confidence as well that I was capable. So yeah, 300 deadlift, suited. First time I'd had to get used to a suit as well, which was a new experience. Not fun wearing that at all, but got it done. Event 3, the Husfell carry. So this is a replica stone, replica of the Husfell stone. So same shape and everything, just a little bit lighter. So it was 140 kilo. And the nice thing about it was, because it was a replica, it was flat on the back. and the front of the shape of it left enough room for your legs to move, and you can set the bulk of it just on your chest without feeling that you're going to pass out, and so you get your arms all the way around it and get a pretty good hold on it. I had no idea how far I was going to carry this, so the heaviest implement I had that was similar to that in training was a 125 kilo sandbag, and that was grim at the time. I did not enjoy doing sandbags, and that was a pretty brutal bag just to be carrying around. But the thing is with the sandbags is it'll mold around you, so it kind of suffocates you, and the breathing's quite difficult. Whereas the stone didn't really have that same problem. And once your arms are wrapped around and you're squeezed in your chest coming, it kind of gives you a little bit of breathing space. So I carried that for 50.9 meters, which I was super happy with. I think it was like 4 lengths of the track that we were on. So yeah, not a bad experience at all. Event number 4 though, this is where the conditioning was not up to scratch, and the weights were super heavy on this. It was a ridiculous medley, absolutely sickening to look at, to think about, to train for. And I had trained it in bits. I hadn't put it all together in training at all. Just couldn't bring myself to do it at the time. It was a lot of setting up, and it was killer. So it was 4 implements, well 3. It was a yoke for 10 meters. Yeah, yoke, 370 kilo yoke, 10 meters, and then a 227 kilo duck walk back for 10 meters, and then 120 kilogram sandbag, 2 of them, to carry and dump it another 10 meters down the road. So I mean 40 meters total with implements, 370 yoke, 227 duck walk, and then 120 sandbag twice, which was brutal. I did not get onto the sandbags, did not complete this one, but it was split time, I believe. So I completed the yoke, which was really happy with. That was a PB yoke, heaviest I'd ever done on the yoke, and it went a lot better than I had in training. The duck walk was killer. Never felt anything like this. So the grip was fine on it. Grip was okay, but it's such an awkward movement, such an awkward walk, the duck walk. You kind of waddling side to side, so the weight's shifting and pulling at your grip, and it just killed my glutes and my hamstrings, and I had nothing. I ended up just picking, swinging and dropping towards the end to get as far as I could. I think I did finish the duck walk, but I had nothing left in me for the sandbags. Not that it would have mattered, because I run out of time anyway to do it. But I mean, I guess overall I wasn't disappointed with this. I knew I hadn't really done it in training. So to get the yoke and the duck walk done, yeah, that was absolutely reasonable. And then last event, what has become my favourite event, the Atlas Stone load. Now these were loaded to the barrel, so it was the same height all the way across, although I think slightly higher, certainly higher on the heavier stones than I had trained before. So in our gym we've got a tiered platform, so it's just two platforms, one slightly higher than the other. And the top platform, I would usually go maybe 120. I think I loaded 140 to it once. With 160 in training, I've only ever loaded to the bottom tier, and I think only once, and I had loaded previously the 170 in Angus's Strongest Man the year before, so I knew it was close, but that was a height PB for the 160. So actually the 120 flew up. I think possibly one motion that into the barrel, no problem at all. The 140 went up, no problem. The 160 went up, and I think I must have overcompensated, because you can see from the photo it's cleared the edge of there by a mile. It's like that was a slam dunk onto that barrel, no catching on the edges. The weird thing about these barrels as well is so I have a position for setting up on a straight platform that's straight up and down, a flat front. and it's basically the top of my head kind of almost touching the platform. That gives me enough space to pick up the stone comfortably and get a nice big hip thrust and clear the edge onto it without being too far away to have to walk it in, and without being too close that I clip it on the way up. But with the barrel, because it's in at the top and then it kind of comes out and back in again, you have to gauge it off the widest bit of the barrel, but then remember to come forward at the top. So it was interesting. Wasn't quite sure how it was going to work, but I don't remember it playing into my thoughts at all when I was actually doing it. I just made sure I got it high enough and went all the way forward till it landed. So I went 120, 140, 160 pretty quick. I think that time actually brought my points up quite a bit, and I found that in later comps as well, is that the stones can really save you and really bag you some points. Because that time everybody's knackered, and if stones are kind of your strong point, then even if you stay even throughout the competition and then get a good stone run, even without completing the stone run, if you get fast stones because it's split on each stone, that it can really boost your points right up. And so yeah, that 160 was a high PB for me. I did try the 180, but it just went to lap. I didn't get it any further than that. So, but I was happy I got hands on it in the first place. That was enough for me. But yeah, from absolutely shitting myself in the beginning, the night before, and being there on my own as well. Luckily, there was a couple of people that I recognised and talked to, and you got to know everybody whilst you were there as well. Like I said, the crowd was awesome, the atmosphere was great. It was a good day, weather was good, so we got a lot of it done outside. And yeah, it just made me fall even more in love with the sport, and definitely wanted to come back, and I did. I'll do that in another video. Yeah, awesome experience. Glad I did it. On to the next competition.